Spells are undoubtedly a core pillar in every single deck in the game. Now every spell has its own distinct role, like Log taking out bait cards and Rocket taking out key cards that your opponent absolutely needs for their push. Understanding what each spell does is just step 1 to utilize them properly. As with certain situations, spells have some advanced uses when paired with certain cards or even when paired with other spells that complement them really well. It is very important to understand the goal behind pairing two spells together, because if you aimlessly just go with no thoughts, you will end up burning so much elixir with nothing to show for your investment. So in today's video, I want to go over the 10 best spell combos while explaining why they work really well together. Number 1. Fireball Zap. This combo is the bread and butter of spell combos in Clash Royale. It's been a staple since 2016 because some cards are balanced around barely surviving Fireball. Realistically, you might think that a 6 elixir investment to take out a 4 elixir card is a bad idea. And you wouldn't be wrong, as this isn't something you would always go for. I'd say if it is to take out an Evo, I can see some good argument for it, and usually when you are up in elixir, such trades will win you the game. In a neutral state, you might zap the tower along with a card because you don't know what to do. If they decide to further support their troop, this can be a good excuse to fireball, knowing that the musketeer will die. Okay, what the hell do you all want? You've been jumping up and down the whole video. No, I understand. Listen, Rage, I'm not dumb. I know you do the same thing. If all 4 of you can just shut up for a second, I'll tell you why Zap is king. Zap is more instant, so when I use it with Fireball, the cards I'm attacking will die faster, compared to you and Snowball where your travel time makes you worse. Zap also has an Evo. Don't even think about it, it's not comparable. The Evo Zap is double zapping, meaning it's double the damage. This allows it to kill some cards that you originally wouldn't be able to. Not to say that Zap is the only viable small spell to pair with Fireball, because there are 2 types of troops that survive Fireball Zap with a sliver of HP. This is the one situation where Fireball Log is a better option, and Log usually has an easier time chipping towers, so it's better in cycle decks. What's funny is that Goblin Curse can technically kill those cards because it deals more damage than Zap, but the issue is that it needs 6 seconds to get all the damage down, so it's a bit inconsistent, but I would say it's an underrated spell. Number 2. Arrows Zap. This is one of my favorite spell combos and one that I use in majority of my decks. The thing about it is that when used separately, arrows are important and Zap is also very important, so you don't have a dead spell. But when used together, they can take out Fireball bait cards. Zappies, Mother Witch, Magic Archer and all the half squishy cards like these will cause you no issues. Similar to Fireball Zap, using other small spells with arrows can technically work the same, and some decks like Giant Graveyard prefer Snowball to avoid resetting the tower. There are no special interactions between Log and arrows. Technically speaking, it would kill Flying Machine or Skeleton Dragons, but Log doesn't really target air, so it doesn't work. Which means you need to stick to air targeting spells. Yeah, the damage on them is not quite the same as Fireball, but it is very close. Number 3. Rocket Tornado. Rocket is a spell that can defend a huge amount of cards on its own. The problem is that it's not always reliable, as it can be hard to hit, and it's really easy to space out troops properly to prevent insane value plays. But with Tornado, you can group everything up to ensure that you hit the entire push. You could also use it as a way to ensure you don't miss, but I don't know if you want to be paying 3 elixir for your incompetence. These alone don't warrant having Tornado Rocket as a top 10 spell combo, which is why I have more tricks to show off. When you're playing Rocket, spell cycling might be your main method of getting damage. A well-timed monk by the opponent can reflect that. This is where Tornado can come to play because it acts as a counter to the counter. In addition, considering the slow travel time of Tornado, you can react and pull something in if they played it after. This is best utilized when you already rocketed a troop to spell cycle and they coincidentally play something that is worth rocketing. Tornado is also great at preventing people from splitting cards to avoid rocket value, and sometimes they might play something on their healthy lane, so tornadoing it towards the weak tower and rocketing is an option. Just keep in mind this is a 9 elixir combo, so you mostly want to do that in triple elixir. Number 4. Poison Log. Usually, poison is more of a solo spell because it has the ability to fully kill stuff like Musketeer and Furnace on its own. Besides, the damage it deals is gradual instead of instant, so it takes time for troops to take the full damage. That makes it worse offensively because what is the point of poison zapping a wizard if he's still gonna kill your push? So instead, we see it used as a way to chip down tower while preventing investments from your opponent. Log is the best finisher for things that the poison can't one-shot because it's better at chipping towers. What's interesting is that Zap, Rage, and Snowball and the other small spells don't really work with poison. Like yes, you could technically do the same job as the Log in certain situations, but Poison Log has this interaction of killing Archer Queen, which is almost a must-have for cycle decks. I find it also crazy because most of the troops that the poison leaves with a slight HP are ground troops. The one exception is Mega Minion, but you're not gonna poison zap that, it's really not worth leaving the log for it. Evo Zap doesn't change that, as the heavier troops are overall way too tanky, they would still survive. Even a baby dragon survives that combo, it literally doesn't offer any kills that the poison log can't secure. Fun fact, Spirit Empress is the closest troop to be killed by this combo, she survives exactly at 1 HP. Yeah, 1 HP. Number 5. Goblin Curse and Rage. Once upon a time, a dude named Abdod started a Clash Royale match. That led to an unfortunate event of Knight Goblin Barrel first play. Given his hand was absolute trash, he had nothing but Goblin Curse for the Goblin Barrel. He graduated from his university, found his soulmate, had a lovely daughter, and on his deathbed, the curse finally killed the goblins. Even though it kills a lot of stuff on its own, the time it needs makes it not worth using to clear swarms for a push. This is why it's typically paired with other small spells. Now, the cool thing is that besides using it as a goblin generator, you can also use it as a finisher for tankier things like Firecracker and Princess. The reason I recommend Rage over the other small spells is for the speed buff. If they can't react in time, you will end up getting a bunch of damage on their tower. And the Rage has a near instant travel time, so they won't have time to react to it. Number 6. Arrows Lightning. Lightning is the best spell to snipe buildings and support troops. What it struggles against is swarm cards of any sort. Arrows is basically the best budget response to cover that up. But to me, them having a synergy in separate areas doesn't make them a combo. They would have to be played together for it to count, which is very lucky for us because these two spells can take out beefier support cards. For example, Inferno Dragon dies from lightning arrows, whereas the small spells don't quite finish it off. You would immediately think 9 elixir for 4 after you already built a push is too much, but in reality you would likely be hitting something else with it, making it worth the investment. Besides, there are certain matchups where that play is the only way to actually win. Executioner dying is also another notable interaction for this combo, especially the Evo. Being able to remove that defensive Executioner is huge. Number 7. Rage Zap. This is one of the most versatile spell combos in the game. You can play them on their own, you can play them with arrows, you can play them with fireball, heck, even playing them with Void is not a bad idea. There are a lot of cards in the game that are balanced on barely surviving a small spell, so when you combine two small spells together, you will have the flexibility of getting rid of them. This spell combo is really great at taking out so many key distractions. It's really funny that you can even one-shot an Evo minion horde if you get both damage ticks on the exact same frame. And what makes this even better is that when you have Evo Zap, it can take out fireball bait cards. Like yeah, you can't really kill an Evo Furnace without the arrows, but I think taking out a magic archer with two small spells is really great. Number 8. Void Zap. Give me liberty, give me fire, give me support spells, or I rate higher. They call me 007. 0 use rate, 0 win rates, 7 skeletons ruining my fucking damage. If and when, but never is a single target, fraud, bomb, waste of a deck slot, it can't do anything on its own cause kid named goblins. Theoretically good, but in practice, nobody knows. Now, here's the deal with Void. You have 3 possible outcomes when using it. Outcome number 1 is them not protecting their troops at all. This basically makes it so it doesn't need any supporting from any other spells. Realistically, the one interaction where you would need a zap after a triple full damage is E-Dragon, maybe Baby Dragon. The second option is when they block all 3 void shots, getting you 3 medium damage strikes. Zap comes into play in option 2 and option 3 as it can act as a finisher for some troops. Specifically, to be exact, Fireballies and Flying Machine die to triple medium damage plus zap. This is great when you consider that the combo can be used to counter zappies. The main issue is that beefier support cards would survive it, which makes it inconsistent. That brings us to option 3, and it's 1 large and 2 medium strikes, which is a very realistic in-game scenario as the first strike can be tough to react to. Playing zap in that situation will finish off a musketeer or a wizard for a total of 5 elixir. A great trade, I would say. I chose Zap specifically over other small spells because of the Evo Zap again. When you have the Evo, you can just void Zap without thinking much, as that would kill almost every single support troop even if they block all 3 shots. Zap also acts as a neutral trade when they play cheap cards to block your void. Sometimes it might get you a positive trade, while ensuring their musketeer dies. And if you are feeling freaky, you could use Goblin Curse as it has similar effects. There is one niche situations where Zap sucks, and it's when they use this safe tile. Basically, no matter where you put your void, their tower will tank for all 3 shots. But with Snowball, you can push it away and ruin their tech entirely. Number 9. Vines Barbarian Barrel. Bar Barrel is a better log when you want to assassinate mid-health troops, but very often you run into this issue of them blocking your bar, which when they do, it usually results in a game-winning sequence. Yes, Mini P.E.K.K.A killing that barb instead of Sparky is a game-winning interaction. Since Vines can quote-unquote freeze stuff, pairing it with Barbarian Barrel would help you confirm the kill on a lot of things. You still need to aim it properly or it will attack their mini tank and end up not doing anything. Besides the freeze synergy, the damage from both of those cards is enough to take out Zappies, Mother Witch and other Fireballies. When you take the second role of the hero into account, you can take out Wizards and Musketeers without needing the barb to hit them. And it's not like you're sacrificing anything when playing this combo because Bar Barrel and Vines are good in the same decks. Bridge spam decks and Golem Beatdown decks and other similar archetypes benefit a lot from these 2 cards anyway. Number 10. Freeze Tornado. Tornado is usually a get out of jail card that can save your ass when you are down a lot of elixir, or fix your mistakes if you completely messed up a building placement or something. Freeze kinda feels the same way but on offense, as it can get you so much undeserved damage and eliminate potential counter pushes that you usually shouldn't, which makes punishing you much harder. So when you combine these 2 cards, the consequences of your actions will evaporate like my will to live whenever I see a magic archer. Get this thing away from me. What makes these 2 great together is that usually Nado is used with splash cards, so when you are attacking or defending, you would want to group things together. Freeze will allow you to keep things lined up for a longer time, ensuring you get max splash value. And the Tornado will make it impossible for people to space things out away to avoid freeze. This is especially important in sudden death, as one good freeze will win you the game. Damage wise, they also have a nice synergy killing minions and minion horde, but nothing more really. You know, I was playing the other day and went against Mortar Bait, and it got me thinking. The modern version of Log Bait goes against the core principles of Clash Royale and should not exist as an archetype. Let me explain. This kind of like gonna sound weird, but hear me out. Clash Royale is built on the idea of trying to outplay the counter of your main source of getting damage on their tower. So when Log Bait decks run like 7 cards that die to spells, they're not trying to do that, they're just spamming bullshit and hoping you don't have 7 small spells in your deck, which you're probably never gonna have. So tell me, what do you think? Does that make sense, my dudes?